Welcome to Teenager Tendency. Today in our segment, we will be analyzing the problems regarding the depiction of teenagers in chick flicks, a genre mainly targeted towards large female audience.
They're not as serious as other genres, but because they don't deal with huge topics such as extinction of humankind or aliens invading our planet, chick flicks tend to affect our lives more on a daily scale.
And this is why we think that when chick flicks portray certain stereotypes of certain group of people, it affects us more. I mean, our lives don't really pertain to apes flying around in New York City or getting trapped in a maze, but rather have to do with living along with those groups of people.
There is no doubt chick flicks are very entertaining, although most of them have no plot and are meaningless.
Come on, admit it. I'm sure everyone has watched a chick flick once in their life and thought it was fun.
I'm definitely guilty of that. Now, as an avid viewer of chick flicks, and as a teenager myself, I can say that these chick flicks do not reflect our lives accurately.
Yeah, in fact, these movie producers only portray the superficial and shallow side of our lives and only scratch the surface. We have more to our lives than popularity or sex.
This leads to two tropes or stereotypes of teenagers we would like to talk about.
Now, let's start with our first trope, shall we? Now, when you hear the word queen bee, what is the first thing that comes into your head?
Probably something related to a single dominant female who rules over the society she is encompassed in.
Well, these queen bees not only exist in the woods, but also in high school campuses as well, according to chick flicks.
It's always the queen bee who gets the invitations to cool parties, hot guys, and homecoming queen titles, while non-queen bees spend their Friday night watching chick flicks, eating a bucket of chocolate ice cream.
Yeah, sometimes these queen bees sing other girls who are classified as losers. Talk about mental rashes everywhere.
As a result, chick flicks trigger teenagers to reach for the highest social status, as a queen bee is given a huge amount of privileges.
Now let's check out some examples from various chick flick movies of queen bees.
Now in this scene of Mean Girls, Regina George is being introduced by Damien to Katie, the new girl from Africa. The movie goes on giving us a whole spiel about who this queen bee of North Shore High is.
Regina George is flawless. She has 2 Fendi purses and a silver Lexus.
I hear her hair is insured for $10,000.
I hear she does car commercials in Japan. Her favorite movie is Varsity Blues.
One time she met John Stamos on a plane.
And he told her she was pretty.
One time, she punched me in the face. It was awesome.
Not only that, but Regina George also has 2 other worker bees who basically work for her. Put them all together and they're called the cold, hard, shiny plastics.
Throughout the movie, the plastics are portrayed as a mean, manipulative, and extremely exclusive, popular, close-knit group of friends.
Many times the queen bee or Regina George acts maliciously to maintain her popularity and to gain even more popularity.
Scenes like these not only make it seem okay for popular kids to act in such a malicious way, but also makes it seem okay for the weaker students to conform to these actions.
Another movie that follows this pattern is Picture This.
In Picture This, Lisa Cross is the queen bee of Nottingham High, and we are first introduced to this evil character through an unpleasant encounter between the most popular girl at school and the least popular.
Granny panties up ahead. This is Lisa Cross reporting live for the Fashion Challenge.
Now, this is just the start of the queen bee's madness and merely one of the ruthless plans she has to sabotage Mandy and her getting her happily ever after.
Are you saying there is more?
Yep. Just like how Regina George manipulates everyone else around her, Lisa Cross does the same.
It sure seems like the 2 queen bees have many things in common.
Now, don't forget the 2 worker bees who aimlessly wander around sucking up to these queens for their social status. In Picture This, Lisa has 2 friends called Kimberly and Blair who assist her making Mandy's life a living hell.
Nail scissors.
No thanks, I'm fine.
Get me nail scissors. Pay attention. You might learn something.
As you just saw in the clip, Lisa bosses her friend around, treating them as her own personal slaves. Also, they're depicted as bullies who manipulate others to get what they want.
In this chick flick called Wild Child, there is a dictator named Harriet with her 2 sidekicks, Jane and Charlotte.
They make sure Poppy Moore, the new transfer student from America, does not get her way and maintain their status.
Well, that's just terrifying. I wonder what this says about teenagers. Surely this isn't the case for all high schools. In fact, I doubt any high schools follow this pattern shown in these movies.
I agree, probably not. These movies encourage and influence teens who watch them to act in a certain way.
It also fosters the idea that it is okay to be manipulative and it is okay to do whatever it takes to be on the top of the social ladder as the queen bee because it isn't fun to be on the bottom.
Moving on, the next trope we'll be talking about is stressed over sex.
And when we say stressed over sex, we literally mean stressed over sex.
A lot of chick flicks about teenagers tend to present teenagers as sex-obsessed, immature kids who don't know how to control themselves.
Yeah, and a lot of these characters share the same trait. For example, all girls tend to squeal over the fact that they went on a date with a cute guy.
While boys tend to congratulate others in a joking way when a male character announces that he either went on a date or had sex with a girl.
Let us just imitate how these girls and boys sound like when they talk about relationships in movies.
Oh my god, guess who I went on a date with last Friday? Oh my god, who? Who? This college guy you probably won't know. Anyways, he bought me dinner, he bought me flowers, we went to watch a movie, we went on a walk. Dude, guess what I did last Friday?
What?
I banged a chick. She was so hot. Dude, you the man! You the man!
But is this a true depiction of reality?
First, let's check out some examples before further analyzing the topic. In Mean Girls, we are presented with the rivalry between Regina George and Katie Hareem over Aaron Samuels, the dreamy senior.
This trope is all over this chick flick, and the Halloween scene is one of the most prominent examples.
Halloween is the one.
In this scene, the plastics are getting ready to go to a huge party at Aaron's, and they wear lingerie and animal ears to appeal their sexuality.
The slutty outfits are obviously worn to attract the guys at the party, and Regina George ends up making out with Aaron Samuel at the end.
I'm a mouse. Duh.
Also, at the party, Karen is shown hitting on her own cousin, Seth, saying that he's a good kisser.
I mean, come on, your own cousin? These scenes really emphasize how sex-driven teenagers are and how they have no bounds.
Additionally, Regina George is depicted as a girl who cheats on Aaron with Shane Owen.
In Wild Child, there is a huge fight over a boy named Freddie, the headmaster's son. Harriet and Poppy Moore are constantly in a battle to win Freddie's love, and that seems to take up a huge chunk of the movie itself.
The most prominent example of this trope is the movie Easy A starring Emma Stone playing Olive Prendergast. The movie revolves around Olive pretending she got laid or lost her V-card.
This leads to the sexual exploitation of her by other boys in the school, and emphasizes how teenagers are obsessed with having sex.
We did it.
Yes! Finally! Now you're a super slut like me. I want a $100 gift card deposited into my locker by noon tomorrow. Preferably to the Gap, but I will also take Amazon.com or Office Max. Actually, make it Office Max. I have my eye on a label maker. We did not have sex, okay? I let you fondle my chest, and it was a glorious moment for you, unmatched by anything you've heretofore experienced, including cake. Got it?
In John Tucker Must Die, John Tucker, the main male character, is a jock who cheats and takes his girl for granted, like most other jocks in the movies.
Oh, please.
Yeah, let's see a scene from this movie where John will be giving his guy friends some details about his relationship with Kate, his girlfriend.
Hold up. I am not whipped, okay? John Tucker is not whipped. I will have you know that at tonight's away game, I'm gonna be scoring more than baskets.
Uncork it, then pork it. Okay, I got you on that one.
Slam dunk, baby.
Uncork it and pork it.
More than baskets, this scene not only shows guys reacting in a superficial way after they hear what John has to say, but also treats sex like some kind of joke.
However, John and his friends apparently don't think it's wrong to act this way, and actually accepts this behavior as something a man should do.
Wow, just from watching these clips, it's so obvious that teenagers in these movies focus not only on their popularity status, but also on their sex reputation. It's like they can't go on one day without talking about boys, 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 or girls, girls, girls.
In fact, none of these movies talk about the hardships of homework or conflicts with their parents. It's just as if they have nothing else to do than talk about their relationships.
Such impression of teenagers degrades the overall reputation of teens and also affects the non-teenager viewers, as they tend to generalize their definition of a teenager.
Totally. Also, not only will it give adults a bad image of teenagers, but also what if teenagers think that this is the norm and that they should follow what the characters do in the movies?
However, there are chick flicks in America that stepped away from such cliché plots and characters, one of them being She's the Man.
I mean, which one would you rather see naked?
Why do you, why? Why do you always do that? Why do you always talk about girls in such graphic terms? Huh? You know what, you have issues.
You're a really sensitive guy, aren't you?
In this movie, the male character is portrayed as a jock who is actually a genuine and hardworking person. Not only does the movie talk about love between the two main characters, but also it talks about the friendship that they build through a common interest.
She's the Man is one of the most famous chick flicks, and the fact that it succeeded even though it didn't include any manipulative girls or any sex manias proves that chick flicks don't necessarily need to include these stereotypes.
Yeah, why add these stereotypes when there are nothing good about them? Think of something new, something that is actually relevant to our reality.
It is ironic that a genre that is supposed to reflect on the reality of high school students actually works the other way around, as high school students start to reflect themselves on the artificial characters in these teen movies.
So we want to say a word to both adult movie directors and teenage viewers.
First, to movie directors. Don't make us teens look like sex-driven, shallow kids who frantically want approval from others. We're not that bad.
Sure, we can be a bit strange and selfish at times, and we don't deny that we care about looks as well as popularity, but not to this extent.
Stop making us look bad and think about what kind of messages you're sending not only to teens, but also to other adults.
And to teenagers or even preteens. Don't expect your high school life to be like one of the movies. I mean, you probably dreamt of the high school life in High School Musical.
It's important to differentiate reality and movies because once we stop doing that, we'll be the ones conforming to the stereotypes.
Well, that's all we have for today. Thank you for joining Teenager Tendency. This was Sarah
and Hareem.
See you later!
First, collect friends. That's right, not make them, but collect them. They should be as pretty as you, but not prettier than you. And they should be kind of dumb. You don't want them outsmarting you, do you? Designer bags are a must. What else is there to life if you don't have a cute, juicy couture bag? Boys, boys, boys. Gotta get them all. What's a queen without a king? Look out for the hottest boys at school and make him your boy toy. Empty compliments. That's the key to seeming nice and making people like you. If you see an ugly sweater, I know it hurts your eyes, and you might wonder why anyone would pay money for that, but just suck it up and tell her you love the look. Oh my god, nice sweater.
Thank you.
Fugly.